All right, welcome to the Jess and Margy show. On a Monday after yoga, which is why we don't look. I mean, we do look amazing.
Namaste.
Namaste. I'm wearing Margy's shirt that she got me from Costa Rica.
Yay.
It says Namaste, and it's a koala bear.
It's a sloth.
Why did I say koala bear? I know it's a sloth. Sloth or sloth?
What? Was that a serious question?
No.
Oh my god! We got that on video!
Well, geez, sometimes you don't know when you're making a joke or not, but that one apparently landed, so.
Sloth.
Isn't there something called a sloth now? For real?
Alex doesn't have Facebook, but she needs to watch this.
You know, I do have some issues with the O sounds, like squall and swirl.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard of a sloth, please comment.
All right. You know what? Some of us didn't go to Moses Brown and learn how to pronounce sloth. I have a lot of memories of, like, mispronouncing stuff. I'm not going to go through them because I'll just be made fun of.
It's okay. I still mispronounce concierge.
I know. No, you don't mispronounce it. You just refuse to pronounce it the correct way. We've used the word concierge, and Margie was like, concierge. I was like, wait, what are you saying? I was like, say it slower. She's like, concierge.
I dropped the G.
Like, where's the G? And we looked it up. I Googled it for, like, the pronunciation and everything, and I was right. So you just don't forget that.
I won't.
When I say slow.
I would never.
Like a dignified human being.
Yeah.
So this is the Jess and Margy show, the March edition. Every month this year, so it's really getting less celebratory the more we go on because in January we had party hats and balloons. And then in February we had just party hats and we've had seltzer, and now we don't have seltzer, party hats, or balloons.
Yep. Just these water bottles full of vodka.
It's a really nice
kidding.
water bottle.
Thank you. It's water.
We need to have a conversation. No wonder you think things are so funny right now. Right? So why are we doing these videos, Markie? What's the Jess and Margy show all about?
Thank you for asking, first of all.
You're welcome.
It's about celebrating small victories.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to this, but we set a goal, and then when we hit a goal, we don't even take any time to celebrate. We're just like, on to the next thing. Go, go, go. Mm-hmm. So we scheduled in so we could, like, intentionally celebrate small victories.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, celebrating accomplishments, remembering where we were, where we are now, and kind of what happened throughout the month. So what happened in March? What are we celebrating or acknowledging for March?
So much.
Yeah.
So much. In prepping for this, we were talking about how so much happened in March.
So much happened in March.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Okay, I guess I'll start with the biggest rock that I can remember, because it was pretty big. So we made a big investment and we joined Allie Brown's Premier Group. So exciting. So Margie and I have been talking about, we've got a lot of clear goals, a lot of clear visions for where we want to go. And, you know, for me, that's significant because a few short months ago, like in November, December, I didn't really have a clear goal or a clear vision. And since Margie became my business partner and, like, we've been working through a lot of stuff, I've just been getting more clarity around, like, where we want to be and where we want to go, having, like, very specific revenue numbers and profit numbers and, like, what we want to take home personally. So it's been really exciting to have those goals. And then the next step is, like, okay, how are we going to get there? Mm-hmm. And I think that over the past few months, we've made so many big strides independently of a coach. And we were starting to think about, like, okay, what could help us get there? And I just thought back to the VIP strategy day that I did with Allie Brown a year ago and how much it helped. And for me, like, I think one of the tipping points was I was checking out her sales page for her creative workshop, which is happening, I think, in a couple of weeks. And just reading it, I was like, Markie, she's like speaking right to us. Just like everything she was saying about like, okay, you know, for a long time in business, it's like you're using formulas and strategies and like following blueprints. And then to really take things to the next level, you need to use creative approaches, and it's no longer just like formulas and blueprints. And that's really where I feel like we're at, is like all the blueprints and formulas that I followed, I'm like, this is not what's going to get us to that next level, which is, where are we going?
Good question.
Right as
Let me take a dramatic sip of water. We can't get there unless we're hydrated, people. Health first. We are.
Our water bottle's like perfectly aligned.
They're bookends. We're going to 7 figures.
Yes. Why? Okay, so I have my thoughts on why 7 figures, but Margie, share with me, like, why is 7 figures a milestone? Like, why not 800,000 or 900,000? Like, why 7 figures for you?
Well, love a round number for a goal.
That's true.
Also, it's just like a milestone. You know, the difference between a 6-figure business and a 7-figure business, it just feels different. Yeah. You know, even if it is like a 900 to $1 million difference, it just feels like you're in a bigger league. Also, it would be more than doubling the revenue from last year. Yep. And scaling that fast is something that I really want to do, and I just think that is such a like awesome goal.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, like, I think a lot about how a pretty small percentage of 7-figure businesses are owned by women.
Ooh.
So, I mean, part of it, I guess you could say it's ego-driven, but also, you know, I'm very passionate about, you know, women empowerment and, you know, just showing that, like, I don't know, being, I guess, public and vocal about not just being a woman-owned business, but actually being a really friggin' successful one that makes, like, that generates a lot of revenue. And, like, employs people who love their job and all the stuff that goes along with having a really successful business that makes a lot of money and is really profitable, run by women who are 29 and 30 years old. Like, that's part of it for me. Yeah. And also, like, the impact that we can have. Like, do you want to share some of the visions we have for like, having an impact?
Yes. So, we're both passionate about a lot of different, like, causes and ways to give back. But a big one for me throughout my life, and if you listen to any of our shows, you probably know this, is animal rescue. And this is something Jess is passionate about too. So we've been talking a lot about how the business could give back, working to help animals in our community, maybe with a sanctuary or some type of, we're both really good fundraisers. So I think the business being able to give back and help animals would make it so like even more meaningful. We also just started, and the first episode isn't out yet, but the Rescue Podcast, which is all...
Is that the name? Is that settled?
It is for now.
Okay.
That is what it's called right now. We might change it again, but I think it's good enough. So, and that's all stories. We're going to be interviewing people about animal rescue stories, and animal rescue can be pretty high burnout. There's a lot of stuff that happens, you know, it's frustrating to see animals hurt and stuff. So this podcast is going to be just happy stories, success stories. It's going to be really cute. More info later. But hoping that through that podcast we can also use it as a way to give back to some animal charities.
Yeah, and I had kind of a really cool realization. Like, Margie's always been really passionate about animals, and I have too, but not... Like, it, at least as of late, it really hasn't felt like my main cause. And it hit me, like, just yesterday, I messaged Markie, and I was like, I totally... Like, I didn't forget, I just wasn't thinking about it, but about 10 years ago, when I was a freshman in college, I did a fellowship called Young People For, and it was like an activist training fellowship where I learned this whole, like, framework around, like, running a, you know, activist campaign. And I remember that when I signed up for that fellowship, they were like, okay, what kind of issue do you want to run your campaign on? And I was like, rescuing animals. And then I didn't, the reason I kind of forgot about it is because they were like, well, this is like social activism, so it's more like people, not animals. So I ended up doing something different. But I'm very passionate about animal rescue. All the pets I've ever had are all rescues. And it's just like, that kind of hit me. And this morning you were like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what? And I was like, I had kids. That's what happened. Like, I kind of got, I had to kind of shift my energy towards raising these little humans. But I just realized also, like, there's so many different issues that I care about, and like so many different kinds of people that need help, and like animals can help so many people.
So therapeutic. They're so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And giving back and helping animals is just good for you too. It's good karma.
Mm-hmm.
It just,
yeah,
it's the right thing.
Exactly. Like, it really teaches kids so much about compassion and responsibility. It's therapeutic for so many different kinds of people that are going through trauma.
Physical health benefits too.
Yeah, just
heart
like,
rate. It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win. So,
and it's gonna be so cute.
yeah, so we're looking at ways that we feel really passionate about that. We have a lot of animal lovers in the office. So for us, like, we kind of like bringing that into the business, because I love businesses that are very purpose-driven. And I think it says a lot about the culture. Like, everyone in the staff just loves animals and love cats, and we have an office dog. So that's one big thing that we got really clear on. Hold on, I'm going to make this battery notice go away. Okay. What else is happening?
Oh boy.
Well, we had a really big goal. So since we got really clear on our goal to get to 7 figures, which was right at the end of February, we shifted our monthly goal to 84,000, which is 84 times 12, just over $1 million. So that's why our monthly revenue goal is that. So this was the second month now that we've been going for 84. How's that been going?
We didn't hit it.
We did not hit it. We did not hit it. But why did we keep that goal?
Well, we went further than we would have gone with a lower goal. It was so funny because we just there's goals even in January that we had that felt like such high revenue goals that we just skated by because we had our eye on 84. So even though we didn't hit it, we skated by goals that just a few months ago seemed like huge.
Yeah. Yeah, so we kept it, and there were so many moments like over the past 3 months where more like in January and February, I think now we're both like pretty confident about just like keeping this goal and keep going. And but there were definitely, moments early on in the year where we're like, do we change the goal? Like, do we make a lower goal so we can meet it? Sorry, I need to drink water. Keep talking.
It's okay. Hydration is very important. So, yeah, we had originally in January, we set a goal, and then when we were almost at the end of the month and it looked like we weren't going to hit it, we set a new lower goal.
Yeah.
And then we learned, first of all, it didn't feel great doing that. And then when we went to the Landmark Advanced course, we really did a lot of work there about goals, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And why you shouldn't lower it, even in the face of potential failure, to keep fighting till the end to hit your original goal.
What's happening? I'm dying.
Are you okay?
Liver failure.
Is there a doctor in the audience?
Yeah. I know, I just have a tickle. Yeah. Keeping the goal was big, and we've both had moments. There were, I think we each took a turn in March of freaking out a little bit about not being on pace.
Yeah, and I went on vacation in March, which kind of made it like in these early months of like trying to scale so fast. It's like when one person is out, it's a lot because we're not like we're not just like coasting.
Right.
We are like going for it every day. So being out of it for a week, I was trying to relax by the pool, but I was like,
you were like texting, what's the revenue?
Yeah, give me the QuickBook updates.
This will not make a difference for you right now. No, but it was good. I mean, we each took a turn. Like, I think you were the first week of March. We weren't like on pace. And then I think the following week I kind of freaked out a little bit. And then I think we both were like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's relax a little bit.
Another benefit of partnership is that like when one person's freaking out, the other one's the calm one. Like, it's okay. And I do think it's just indicative of going for bigger goals that it tests you personally. Like, it takes more personal development to push yourself for such a big goal, I think. And it brings out all that stuff.
Right, and it brings out how you are in the face of failure. Because you could look at what our goal was for February and what our goal was for March and see that we didn't make that goal and be like, oh, we failed. And that is like a real kind of test to our confidence and our ability to keep going. But I think like especially doing something like this where we stop and really reflect on the accomplishments that we did make and how great the month actually was, kind of helps us going forward. And the one thing that I said, I was like, if we, like, we're going for 84,000 this month, but if I thought that we could do 84,000 on our own right now, like, I wouldn't have joined Allie Brown's mastermind group. So I guess that was, I don't know if that's a way of just, like, making me feel better about it, but, do what you gotta do. Say what you gotta say to keep going. So you mentioned the Rescue podcast, and we are really building out our media company, I guess. Yeah. So we really want to do a lot more podcasting. So the podcast that we do have, we have Rock the Podcast, which is the company, Interview Connections company podcast. We have our clients on. We talk about, like, very podcasting specific topics. And then we have Women-splaining. Yeah. And we love Women-splaining so much. We started that in, like, October, November, and it was a passion project. This was before Margie became co-owner. We were just doing it, like, personally. And once Margie became co-owner and we saw some more visions for building out more podcasts, we brought it, like, into the company, and it's been really awesome. Like, we just had Hillary Hendershot on talking about women and money. And should we talk about what our next episode is going to be?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to share? No?
Well, yeah, sure. So we have, Jess and I worked together, like, in a previous life when I was, like, fresh out of college, and you were too.
Yeah.
And so someone we both worked with, who's a great guy and a great activist, he has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he was gracious enough to agree to let us interview him this week for Women-splaining about what the experience of that has been like.
Yeah, because on Women-splaining we talk a lot about, essentially we talk about topics that aren't talked about a lot. Kind of like taboo subjects, people that get, they're topics that some people get a little uncomfortable by, but we have both found that the more you kind of talk about these subjects, you can normalize them, and it helps people work through it. Because it's things like death, which we're all going to face death, both ourselves and, like, people around us are going to die. And I think the more we can talk about it, the more comfortable we get with what that experience is. And other things like mental illness. We interviewed somebody about eating disorders, and just learning about these parts of life that, when you kind of walk around meeting people, like, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Like,
they're fine. Everyone's fine. They're not fine.
There's so much more to people's experiences that are not typically talked about unless maybe you're a very close friend. Mm-hmm. So we started Women-splaining so we could really be that close friend to people, and they can hear us have these conversations, and they can feel like, oh, this is normal for Jess and Margie to talk about. Maybe it's normal for me to talk about with other people. So that's kind of the why we do the show. And I was thinking about how life change, what I've heard from people who have died from cancer and other illnesses, like how your outlook on life really shifts when you kind of are given a timeline, when you have a doctor that says, like, this is how long you have. So we're going to interview Dave about that this week, and that'll be out a week from Friday is when that episode will go live. So very excited about just sitting down and talking to him and sharing his story. Yeah. And then the Rescue podcast, the next show, and just building out more podcasts in our network.
Women-splaining business.
Oh yeah. We're also, Markie and I are going to start a business show because we are business coaches. We're doing VIP strategy days. We have our first couple VIP strategy days scheduled in May, and so we want to have a podcast where we're just teaching our listeners all that we have learned and all that we're doing to grow Interview Connections successfully. I think that's kind of it.
Yay.
March was awesome. And we're very excited for April.
Yay.
Even though it's snowing right now.
I think, it is snowing today.
Yeah, that's okay though. It was super pretty snow. All right. Thank you for joining us for this March edition of the Jess and Margie Show. Technically it's April, but it's about March, so I'm going to stick with that. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.